Hello and welcome to Auto Shenanigans. How the devil are you? Have you had a good week? My name is John and thank you very much for joining me for another exciting episode of Secrets of the Motorway. Today, we're exploring the M11 motorway to see what wondrous secrets we can uncover. The M11 was built in stages but opened in its entirety in 1980. It starts in Woodford, London, before heading 55 miles to the north and ending at Cambridge, in Cambridgeshire. So, we'll be starting here in Woodford, and already there is something amiss. The M11 starts at junction 4. So, where's junctions 1, 2 and 3? It appears that they don't exist, so what happened there then? It's a long story, but it's down to the London Ringways project. Like we saw in our M1 episode, the original plan was that there'd be more motorway. It was proposed that the M11 would start at Ringway 1 in the Hackney Wick area before heading north and joining Ringway 2, also known as the North Circular Road. This idea was eventually scrapped, and oddly, before they even built the M11, so they could easily have made the junction numbers correct, but they obviously didn't alter the plans and got on with it anyway. Another idea that was scrapped was the M12 Motorway. This would have converged with the M11 and the North Circular Road, brackets Ringway 2 at Woodford, creating an almighty mess of a junction. Whilst the M12 didn't happen, they did construct the junction to allow for it. So if you have a look around the Woodford interchange, you'll notice this rather large gap of space in the middle. It's now a country walk, and a very pleasant walk indeed, ignoring the motorways. But its original intention was for the M12 to come through here and link up with the M11, etc. at the Woodford interchange. And on the M11 southbound carriageway, you'll notice this small ghost slip road. This shows one of the points where the M12 would have linked with the M11 heading south. You'll also find this bridge that carries a slip road from the North Circular, seemingly over nothing. Had the M11 been built as intended, it would have come right through here onto the bridge on its way to Hackney Wick. Just up the road from the Woodford interchange, near Chigwell, is the site of a proposed service station. When planning the M11, they included sites for service stations, often buying up the land in preparation for construction. At Chigwell, they were absolutely certain that they were going to be building a service station, so they went ahead and installed all of the junction and the slip roads and a crossover bridge, everything. Later on, somebody had other ideas and decided to pull out of building a service station. It was feared that its location just wouldn't be profitable. What we've got left, as I mentioned, is the slip roads and effectively the junction and everything else in place without any of the buildings. The site is used by, I think, the traffic wombles or a division of the police. There's a small building on the other side. In 2010, the southbound side was converted to a storage yard that was used for the construction of the 2012 Olympics. They tarmacked over the entire area, but once the Olympics had all gone away, they removed all of that and it's been returned to nature. A short while after passing the Chigwell services area, you'll get to junction 5. An odd junction in as much as you can't join the M11 northbound here, there's only an exit. The story goes that just round the corner there's a company called De La Rue who print all of the money for, a lot of the world. They print currencies and banknotes, etc. If you decided to commit some sort of robbery by not having a northbound entry to the M11, you wouldn't be able to make much of a quick getaway. You could, of course, head south, but that's going to take you straight into the dense and populated area of London, which is not really the best idea. A fantastic story, which is sadly exactly that, a story. I'd like it to be true, but the reality is a lot less interesting. The nearby suburb of Debden saw rapid expansion in the late 40s, with housing estates popping up all over the place. Back then, the idea was that this would provide a self-contained way of living with all of the jobs and shops and everything you need provided in one area. When the M11 came along in the 70s, they thought that, there wasn't really much of a desire from residents to head north, so they simply just didn't build the roads. Which, if you think about it, probably makes sense, because if you did live around this way, you'd probably head south into London because there's more shops and more work there, so why would you ever need to head north? Between junctions 5 and 6, the latter being the M25 interchange, you might spot this secret junction. It's mostly used by the Highways Agency, who have a depot nearby. They store gritter lorries there and the like, and occasionally we'll see use by the emergency services as a turning around point or an emergency access point. Carrying on towards Cambridge, and junction 7A is a recent addition to the M11, opening in June of this year. It's just up by Harlow. Keep an eye out for another secret junction that can be found between junctions 8 and 9 near Newport. Junction 9A is a little bit peculiar in as much as it's not actually on the M11. If you take a look on satellite image, you'll see that the M11 splits into two. If you follow the spur road, you'll get to junction 9A, which is at the Stump Cross interchange where it meets the A11. There's also a sneaky little slip road which links the M11 South carriageway through to the spur road, intended for use by the Highways Agency and emergency services. You might notice at junction 13 that, like junction 5, there are no northbound slip roads. It's nothing to do with robberies and is simply due to its close proximity to the interchange that lies to the north. Our final stop for today is at junction 14, known as the Girton interchange. It's here that the M11, A428 and the A14 all meet in one large junction. It's seen a lot of improvements and redevelopments in recent times, but if you know where to look, you'll find a few examples of abandoned roads and remaining infrastructure that used to make up the interchange before these improvements were made. As you approach Girton interchange, if you're heading north on the M11, keep an eye out for what appears to be a ghost slip road. This points you to an old slip road and abandoned road that no longer exists following the changes made to the interchange. If you had used that slip road to exit, you'd have been brought down here onto this road called the Avenue. Originally, this road would have taken you through to the village of Madingley. It's now been severed by the newly built A1307, which came about as part of the interchange's improvement works. That's all for today, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, there's a button specifically for that, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, whatever it is you get up to. My name's John. You've been watching Auto Shenanigans, and I shall see you guys next time for another exciting episode of Secrets of the Motorways. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. See you soon. Bye-bye. In as much as it's not actually on the M1. Wrong motorway. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Going the wrong way. I can't shit on this.